everyone, welcome to another insightful episode of Myth Synapse podcast series. Today, we're diving deep into a critical topic of latent tuberculosis, an often overlooked yet significant public health challenge. Latent tuberculosis affects nearly one-fourth of world's population, yet many remain unaware of its risks and implications. Without proper diagnostics and treatment, latent tuberculosis can progress to active TB, leading to severe health complications and transmissions within communities. Joining us is Dr. Chavi Gupta, an esteemed infectious disease specialist with an impressive academic background, including an MBBS, MD, and DM from AIIMS, New Delhi. He has also undergone specialized training at Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, focusing on infections in cancer and transplant patients. From diagnosing and managing prolonged fevers to tuberculosis, HIV care, vaccinations, and travel health, she offers a holistic approach to infectious disease. Given her extensive expertise, she is the perfect guest to help us unpack today's discussion on latent TB. So, welcome, Doctor, and it is a pleasure to have you today. So, Doctor, to start with, how does latent TB differ from active TB, and what are the key risk factors for its progression to active disease?
So this tuberculosis bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis remains in our human body precisely within the lungs in an inactive form. So whenever it is in inactive form, it always have a risk to develop into an active form and cause the clinically significant disease. So this latent TB is also the similar kind of picture when this bacteria is present inside the body. Technically, it is defined as a sensitization of human body to this bacteria. It can progress to active TB at any part, at any stage of life if it is a present. So, like vulnerable key population, elderly, any immunosuppressed population, diabetes, particularly these patients are at higher risk of converting a latent TB into the active TB. So these are the key factors which can convert diabetes, immunosuppression in any forms, whether it is an age-related immunosuppression or disease-related immunosuppression like your chronic kidney disease, chronic heart disease, or medicine-related immunosuppression, cancer patients taking anti-cancer drugs, or rheumatoid arthritis patients, any patients taking steroids or any biologicals. So it can convert from latent TB to the active TB.
Next question is what are the current best practices for diagnosing LTBI, and how should clinicians actually decide between tuberculin test, skin test, and interferon gamma release assays?
Currently, we have for many years, we have two tests like tuberculin skin test and your interferon gamma assay. The new addition is your CyTB test, which is currently added in this armamentarium. So this tubercular skin test lacks some specific features, like it may be positive even if your latent TB is not present, if the person is previously infected or previously vaccinated. Now interferon gamma does not give you any false positive results in previously vaccinated patients, but tuberculin skin test like TST will give a false positive results in previously vaccinated individuals. So ideally, interferon gamma should be preferred over TST. But the thing is that interferon gamma assays, these are the costly tests and these requires a cumbersome laboratory infrastructure. Now the new test, CyTB, is one of the tests which combines both tuberculin skin sensitivity testing and your interferon gamma assay into the one. That it converts the both concept into a novel concept where the procedure is simple. It is another kind of skin test, but it will not give any false positive reaction, just like a tuberculin skin test. So nowadays this CyTB is a better version than any other old versions.
Because a lot of clinicians also usually struggle between choosing.
So a lot of people have a habit of going for the tuberculin skin testing and just starting tuberculosis treatment only on that basis, which is a wrong practice.
Yeah, thank you for that guidance of yours, Doctor. So now, Doctor, how should LTBI screened and managed in immunocompromised individuals such as those with HIV or undergoing immunosuppressive therapy, because that
Yeah.
also becomes really
So,
important.
as per our national guidelines, we have a very specific guidelines for treating LTBI. So, for all HIV positive patients, they are has to be treated with LTBI during their course of treatment without any testing. Like they are a candidates for treatment of LTBI. There is no need to screen them for LTBI. Just the treatment for LTBI may be given for HIV patients. For rest of and similarly for children less than 5 years, if they are coming into the contact of any pulmonary tuberculosis patient, there is a close contact among the household members, they should also be given treatment for LTBI. Now, more than 5 years of age or any other individual which does not fall into the mandatory category of LTBI treatment, they must be screened. So the screening test I have already told you, like it is a skin tuberculin skin test, IGRA test, and your CyTB test. So they must be screened by this test and the chest X-ray to rule out any possibility of active disease, and they can go for the treatment for LTBI. If it is positive, your skin test, interferon gamma or CyTB is positive.
Thank you for highlighting the importance of actually proactive screening.
So I
It's really
think all immunocompromised patients should get screened for it and treated accordingly.
correct. So now, doctor, what are the key monitoring parameters for patients on LTBI treatment, and how can clinicians manage potential side effects also?
So as far as there are no potential side effect in this treatment, and for the key monitoring, it has to be ensured that they take the treatment properly within the stipulated time, and they during their course they may develop into the active TB, so accordingly they should be monitored.
Yeah, so I think robust monitoring strategy is really important. So now, doctor, how should LTBI be managed in special population as such as those who are pregnant, children, and even elderly?
So I have told you that for children and elderly they can be managed. So there is no special provision for managing any special population. The treatment remains same. Only the other things, if they are having any other treatments or any drug interaction or something like, has to be taken care of. Otherwise, the treatment remains same.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for highlighting that, doctor. Now, doctor, finally, how effective are LTBI treatment programs in reducing TB incidence, and what are the biggest challenges in achieving better adherence and program success?
So it has been seen, if I talk about the HIV population, because HIV population is very high risk of getting TB. So it has been seen that if they are treated for LTBI or given prophylaxis, the chances of tuberculosis reduces by 33% in them. And for any other general population, it may further reduce to 40 to 50%. So even if these specific populations who are at the high risk or the close household contacts, if they are treated, so there is a high chance that the incidence of active TB will reduce, eventually breaking the cycle of transmission of pulmonary TB. So this is the concept of latent tuberculosis and its treatment.
Yeah, I think that actually is really important, as you mentioned. So, doctor, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on this important topic today. So, thank you so much for your time today, doctor. And to our listeners, I'm sure you have gained some valuable insights from this discussion, and we look forward to enlighten you with more insightful discussions in the future. And remember, if you are a healthcare professional who is eager to delve deeper into medical topics or have questions, do not hesitate to join us on the Medicine Apps platform. Medicine Apps platform is not just a resource, it's a dynamic space where you can connect with your medical peers, participate in meaningful discussions, and contribute to the ongoing evolution of healthcare. So until next time, stay informed and stay healthy.